It was called tui-rs Revival back then. And then somebody came up with the name Ratatouille. We created a logo. So basically, it became a community after
Mm.
that point. Codex CLI was rewritten in Rust. So OpenAI just started to use Ratatouille because of that. One problem is that you can easily lose control of the generated code. Try to write a simple thing that you have written before in Rust. Open source is community. So when you want to be part of something, when you want to bring value to something, you also need to be a part of the community.
Hello Arun, welcome on the Rustify podcast. It's a pleasure to have you.
Hello, Max. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
So maybe for people who don't know you, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. So my name is Orhun Parmaksız. I am originally from Turkey, Ankara, and recently moved to Berlin to work at JetBrains as a Rust developer advocate. And I am quite active in open source, and I mostly use Rust. My flagship project is Ratatouille. This is a thermal UI library for Rust. It enables you to cook thermal user interfaces. So I guess that's me, just open source Rust terminals, and yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And I've also used the Ratatouille library. It's the framework, I mean, it's very, very good. And like, what was the reason for building Ratatouille and when did you started it?
So it was back in 2023. Ratatouille was another library before it became Ratatouille. So it was called tui-rs, and I was a user of this library. I created like three applications. It was mostly Linux tools, like terminal user interfaces for Linux. And what happened was this tui-rs library was unmaintained. So there was an issue basically discussing what should be the next step for this library. And me and a couple of other interested people, we stepped up and said, hey, we can continue maintaining this. So we created some social channels around this. We created a fork, and we basically collected a lot of people under this Ratatouille, like tui-rs Revival umbrella. It was called tui-rs Revival back then. And then somebody came up with the name Ratatouille. We created a logo. So basically, it became a community after
Mm.
that point. And the first reason why I wanted to be active in this because I was a user of the previous version and I wanted to keep using it. So I basically took some responsibilities. We
Mm.
created releases and I kept using tui-rs or Ratatouille. So basically it happened that way. And nowadays I am just in the lead maintainer position and I basically decide on where the project is going.
Yes, that's very cool. And was it your first open source project that you were maintaining, or did you started other open source project before?
Yeah, I had like many other open source projects before Ratatouille, and I have basically tried to build as many things as possible, as interesting things as possible, because my goal was to somehow turn this into a career where I can just do open source and make a living, and
Mm.
this was like I guess everyone's dream, just to do build some cool stuff and then keep surviving like that. But basically that was my goal. So I had many other like CLI tools, some even like not even Rust projects before Ratatouille. So yeah, I was quite active starting from 2017
Okay,
and yeah, that time.
okay. And maybe you were using other programming languages before Rust. Maybe when you started in 2017, or I'm curious about when you discovered Rust and why you decided to go full into Rust.
So I was using other system programming languages such as C, Go, and I guess a little bit of Python. But the reason why I switched to Rust was because I was always experimenting with new languages when I start new projects. So at some point I started using Go and I created a terminal user interface in that. and then I didn't really like the experience. So my next project would be something else I was thinking. And one of my friends, back in time, he was quite like motivated about Rust. So he said, I should learn Rust because it's very promising. So that's the reason why I started because I was gonna build some terminal user interface, and
Mm.
I was just like, looking for something new to learn. So it was in 2019, and I started with tui-rs actually. I've
Okay.
used tui-rs as my first like library that in Rust, and build a terminal user interface. And yeah, but that's basically the story. And then I kept building toys, and it was
Mm.
a quite fun journey.
Okay. Yeah, you kept cooking stuff with Rust then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, awesome. And with Ratatouille, because you were also mentioning that it was a community project at the beginning from the fork of the unmaintained tui-rs project. Was it difficult to maintain it as with the community, or was it difficulty for this? Because I guess you were not the only one to take decisions.
Yeah, so I would say it was both like easy and difficult at the same time because when you have multiple people on board, it's easier to get more feedback, and you feel more like safe making decisions because you have different angles on different problems. But sometimes the availability of people who are working on open source changes a lot. So all of a sudden you might just end up by yourself because other people are busy, or they have other things going on, or
Mm,
maybe they lose interest. So it happens like that sometimes. So we have to always keep people coming in as maintainers, uh, and just keep the project active. So it has it has both advantages and disadvantages because open source is essentially communication work, and when you are not enabling those channels properly, when you don't know what's really going on with people, and if they disappear, or like if they get stuck on something and don't really follow up, and you don't follow
mm,
up with them, uh, things don't really move forward. So you need to
mm,
be really active, and you need to be really in communication with people. This part is, again, this is just communication work, so you need to
mm,
be really careful about, like, you're really aware of these issues.
mm,
So I think I would say we don't have like big like problems like communication issues or anything like that, but I'm just talking about the nature of open source.
mm,
And in terms of Ratatouille, we had new people coming in and some people not being able to contribute much because they have other stuff to do. But I think usually what happened was we were always like 2 to 3 people working on Ratatouille at the same
mm,
time. So we don't have sometimes, like, I think at some point we had like 5 people actively working, but then it dropped to 3, now 2. So it changes based on people's
mm,
availability. It changes a lot based on that. But I just make sure that I'm always there for the releases and for the overall direction of the project. So if anything is happening, I'm just trying to be there all the time. Maybe I'm not like actually developing features or approving PRs or not really
mm,
providing any PRs, but I'm always there in terms of community and in terms of the visibility of the project.
mm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a question of communication and visibility. And you're also very active also on LinkedIn, for example, for showing all the stuff that you can build with Ratatouille. I remember there is also awesome Ratatouille README file you can also check with all the awesome projects built in with Ratatouille, so
Hmm.
it helps also a lot. And do you have like maybe a big surprise in terms of use case for Ratatouille, like a project that was very surprising and still very good to use with Ratatouille?
Yeah, so one of my friends, Samuel, his nickname is Salmons, he created Ratatouille, and it's for building UFI applications. And
Okay.
he's actually using this on his own laptop, which is crazy to me. Like when he boots his machine, there's a Ratatouille UI that helps him select a bootloader or like the images to boot. So
Mm.
that was a quite a nice use case because he not just built the library Ratatouille, he built an application using that, which is called EFI
Mm.
Mux or something like that. So basically, this was a quite a nice use case of Ratatouille, and also it was just working. It was not just an experiment that was out there to be
Mm.
just to be experimented. It was actually a good use case. So I really like that. One other thing, maybe I should mention, the Ratatouille Unity library was
Mm.
quite a nice one because it was unexpected. Like one day I was just like browsing Discord and LinkedIn, and somebody just shared like Ratatouille Unity, and it's a 3D environment like a Unity application, but you can have Ratatouille screens in there. So it was like quite a nice thing because yeah, you can blend two worlds like 2D terminal and
Mm.
also the 3D Unity world. So yeah, that was quite impressive. Maybe one last thing.
Mm.
I just got a coffee machine in my apartment, and somebody built an espresso machine monitoring device. It's called using embedded Ratatouille. So this was also quite nice. So maybe I will do something similar.
Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, I remember also like the Unity project I remember on LinkedIn, and it's
Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. And also it's because it's used by people who create very cool stuff, but it's also used by big companies. Also, the Ratatouille framework. Maybe can you share a little more about this?
Yeah, so I think the one of the one of the like the biggest things that happened, I think it was 2 years ago or 1 year ago, I don't remember, but like Codex CLI was rewritten in Rust. So OpenAI just started to use Ratatouille because of that, because there wasn't really other like very mature TUI library choice out there. So apparently they went for uh, Ratatouille. So Codex is using that nowadays. I use Codex as well. Quite nice. Recently, uh, SpaceX AI started using it for Grok build.
Mm.
This is also an agent. They have also created some standard versions of specific libraries, like Ratatouille related libraries. So there is one library called Ratatouille text area. This is for text inputs and so on. And they have created their own fork of
Mm.
it with some other features. They haven't like upstreamed any of those. I don't think they will actually contribute back, but
Mm.
let's see, maybe they will. So they use it in a like a way that they actually modify things and they change some functionality, but they are using it. You can see it in the repo. Other than that, we have a bunch of other like companies and big players listed on our website. So if you go to ratatouille.rs,
Mm.
we have just updated the list there, so you can see more.
Okay, cool. I will put a link in the description. Yeah.
Yep.
And you were just mentioning two big name in AI these days. What's your opinion about Rust and AI? Maybe not only for building terminal user interface or using with agent, but maybe like in general, because I'm guessing that you are using also AI in your day-to-day to cook stuff. So yeah, I was a little curious about your opinion on Rust and AI.
Yeah, sure. So I have been using AI actively for the past couple of months,
Mm.
and what I realized while writing Rust is AI is actually quite a nice way of developing Rust applications because the compiler is quite strict, and then it basically avoids mistakes by itself. So the generated code is always like, okay, I'm not talking about the structure of the code, but like actual functionality wise, runtime wise, it's gonna be okay and it's gonna work. One problem is that you can easily lose control of the generated code. So what I've realized most of the time is you start writing something, you use prompts, you get to a point where
Mm.
it's working, it's nice, and you can read and understand. But 10 minutes later, maybe you wanted to add like more features, and then you kind of start to lose control a bit.
Mm.
Things start to get a bit more all over the place and kind of gets like very like it gets complex really quick, is what I realized. And you need to be really careful because, like I said, it's just outputting code that is at some point it's hard to review and hard to
Mm.
make sure that it's gonna be good quality. So try to take small steps. I try to build small parts and then kind of bring them all together.
Mm.
One other thing maybe I should mention is that there are a lot of wipe coded projects out there right now, and most of them are actually like suffering from this case. So if you go into some wipe coded Rust application, you can see some insane stuff like the unsafe mutexes and just like
Mm.
lifetimes and like being unsafe, but you don't have a reason for that, you know? Like so you see stuff like this a lot.
Mm.
So I guess having more understanding of the Rust internals, like how the Rust language works and how how good code looks like is now way more important because you need
Mm.
to make sure that the code that you're writing is actually maintainable, good quality, and is not gonna shoot you on your foot one day. So yeah, that's what I would say in terms of Rust and AI these days.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's yeah, the compiler is very helpful to work with AI, but still it's possible to lose the ownership of the code base the more you advance. So yeah, definitely. And yeah, also to focus really on first principles and design system and all that is very, very more important these days. And like for senior developers who are not using Rust these days, but who are very still good in design system, and they want to learn Rust, what advice could you give them? Like, should they use AI since they already have a good experience with programming in general, or?
I think if they have experience, like it's not related to experience. Like I wouldn't suggest using AI to be honest. I
Mm.
would probably suggest just handwriting code in the first stage and just getting more understanding of what's going on. I would probably just say that try to write a simple thing that you have written before in Rust.
Mm.
Let's say you have some really basic tool that you've written, and you just try to re-implement that in Rust. And I would say you're gonna see the difference. Like you're gonna see how the ecosystem is different. You're gonna see how the runtime performance is different. So since they have already experience and since they have already written this project before, writing that code functionality wise is not very difficult for them. But like the experience of writing Rust might be different, and this is expected. So I would say there's a lot of things to learn from that. So re-implement something that is that existed for you and something that you have implemented before. Whereas for let's say junior developers, I think I would suggest the same, but this time basically start without AI, like no
Mm.
AI, learn the basics, and then implement something. So that's what I would say.
Okay, yeah, good advice to really understand the first principle first, and then it's easier to. Okay, okay. Um, and so we speak a little about AI in Rust, Ratatouille. But I've seen also that you have started recently a new position at JetBrains as a DevRel. What put you there, and what was the context?
Yeah, so I have collaborated with JetBrains in the past, and they were super nice. And I've started like seeing them at most of the Rust conferences last year, I think. Like
Mm.
I've seen their booths at like Eurorust, some other big Rust events, Rust Week, and so on. So I was like, these guys are supporting the ecosystem. They are doing something. So there's also Rust Rover, which I've tried
Mm.
last year. So basically, like all of these things combined, I had grown some um, like I knew some things were happening in there. So
Mm.
when the opportunity came up, I had some chat with them, and we have aligned on many things that we want to do. And I have shared all my goals. They have shared what they want to do, and we have realized this is a pretty good fit. So what I've done before I joined JetBrains was I was basically doing advocacy for Rust and Ratatouille in
Mm.
open source ecosystem. And what I'm doing right now for JetBrains is Rust developer advocacy. So basically, it's like very similar, but I'm doing things now at a different scale, I would say. So I have basically changed a bit of things in my life as well. I've moved to Germany. I've started this job, and I've just basically broke all the comfort zone and just
Mm.
started doing something new. But I'm quite happy now. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And yeah, because you started like a few months ago, and if I remember, yeah, and yeah, going out of your comfort zone, this is how you grow also. So that's awesome to hear. Okay. And like, what looks like your day to day as at JetBrains?
So, like I said, the position is called Rust Developer Advocate. So it's not it's not directly related to Rust Rover itself. It is related to Rust Rover, but I'm actually representing the Rust ecosystem
Mm.
inside JetBrains, and also representing JetBrains in the Rust ecosystem. So I'm basically a bridge between these two. And since Rust Rover is the product that JetBrains is right now working on in terms of Rust, I am also representing that. But my primary goal is to basically advocate for Rust and bring more people to Rust. And also, while doing that, I need to relay all the feedback from the Rust ecosystem and just be the
Mm.
voice of Rust ecosystem inside JetBrains, and just be the key person when it comes to what developers want. And just, I'm just responsible for just representing the people outside. So whenever there is a Rust Rover related thing, and
Mm.
whenever somebody says something about Rust Rover, my job is to take that and bring that to the developers or the right person inside, so that we can improve the product and improve this development environment. And also, when it comes to bringing more people to Rust, my job is to basically do what I was doing before: be more
Mm.
active, be more visible, talk to people, go to conferences, live streams, videos, basically all those things. So recently, I have done a live stream with John Seeger from Canonical about Rust in Ubuntu. So basically, things like this, or the things that we are doing right now,
Mm.
interviews. So basically, just share Rust, bring more people to Rust, and basically, yeah, that's my job, and it's very close to what I was doing before. So it's
Mm.
great.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, because like you also enter in contact with not only people from the community but also companies, I guess. And
Yep.
like, where do you see Rust going in the coming years, especially for companies? Do you see more adoption going in the coming years? Or
My observation for that is it's it's going, excuse me, it's going extremely slow. So I have talked to some big players in the industry.
Mhm.
I have talked to some companies that used, for example, C++ and like embedded space. So the adoption is there, but it's very
Mhm.
slow. But it's not like it's yeah, things might change really quick. So we see more things now being re-implemented or like rewritten in Rust, and this might affect many things in terms of adoption. I know that people are aware of Rust in these companies, and they are also excited about it. But in order to just take a step forwards and start using Rust, we need more examples, more like success stories, and more people adopting Rust. So it's happening, but it's happening very slowly. Um, my job is also just to share these stories and like interview these people and just be more like bring those things out so that people know that hey, this this place used Rust and now they're doing these things and they're very successful. So basically, I'm trying to do that as well. But like I said, it's unfortunately my observation is a bit it's going a bit slow.
Mhm. Yeah, it's going yeah, it's going slow. But as you were suggesting, also maybe it can go very fast, very quickly. Like for example, the binary write from Zig to Rust was not really expected, and still a good signal maybe for Rust. So maybe it can go very fast. Yeah. Um, and last question before we wrap up, because you have been doing a lot of open source projects. And maybe you are also an inspiration for people who want to contribute to open source. What advice could you give to this to someone who wants to contribute to open source?
Open source is community. So when you want to be part of something, when you want to bring value to something, you also need to be a part of the community, which means being active in the issue tracker or just reaching out to people who are responsible for this open source project. The way that I see these days is that if you just show up at an open source repository and if you drop a PR or two, this is not gonna be very sustainable because things like the decisions are usually made in discussions and in, for
Mm,
example, Discord servers or like Matrix and so on. So I would say if you want to be, for example, if you want to be a contributor to Ratatouille, join the socials, like join the Discord and ask for the areas to work on there. Of course, there is the issues like they are public and the pull requests they are public, but the roadmap might change and we might actually need something that you have built. So if you want to be really like actually productive and actually bring the real value, I would say contact the maintainers and be active in the community first, and then you can work on issues and do the things that is actually needed. So I would say be part of the Discord or forums or like I don't know, basically just use the social media. And most of the big open source projects they have some way of communicating.
mm,
If it's just a one person project, you could even reach out to them via email or via the discussions tab on GitHub or based on what you're using. Also, maybe good time to promote my own Discord server. I
mm,
have a Discord server called Grindhouse, and we do quite a bit of like collaboration in terms of projects and sharing ideas. So if you join there, we would be happy to help you out on what you want to build as well, because everyone is grinding there. Everyone is
Hmm.
building their own thing. So grindhouse.dev if you want to join us and ask questions. So yeah, I guess that's what I would say.
Okay, awesome. I didn't know Grindhouse to be honest. Is it recent or
No, it's something that is part of my like YouTube channel and
okay, okay,
live streams. But
okay.
I don't actively promote it. It's more
Hmm.
like the little I don't want to say fan club, but like a little cult of
Okay.
people.
Okay,
So
okay. Okay, okay.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, that's awesome. I will also put a link in the description. Okay,
yeah.
perfect. Thanks, Round, for joining the podcast. It was very interesting, and see you soon.
Of course, Max. Thank you for having me.